What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. I hope that people actually can see the overlay, or I'm gonna lose my shit today. Okay, I will lose my shit today if nobody can see the overlay. Welcome to the breakdown, episode 705. We had Peter Shift on yesterday. I will lose my shit. I'm gonna look right now. If it's not on, I'm losing my shit. I'm going to lose my fucking shit. Hold on. I'm going to check. It's on. Okay. I don't know what happened yesterday. I don't know what happened yesterday. The haters were putting voodoo on me. Nothing was working yesterday. Nothing. Absolutely zero things were working for me yesterday. The monitor wasn't working for me yesterday. All three monitors went out. I'm out here blind and shit. Okay. It's crazy work, man. Anyway, welcome. Title sponsor, Midnight. Shout out to Midnight. Shout out to Charles. Let me just say something. Midnight killed. They absolutely killed it at Consensus. 2026 was owned by Midnight. I don't care what anybody says. They were every single picture on the timeline, and it's not just me looking for Midnight stuff. Every single thing that I saw from Consensus was mostly Midnight. And shout out to Charles for manning both booths. He was standing at both booths, taking questions, meeting and greeting with people. That's what a real CEO does. Y'all hate on him, but he's in the crowd. Same people that was shaking his hand were probably talking mad shit about him online. Funny how that works. Polymarket is the official prediction market sponsor of the DG brand and also this program, The Breakdown. It is a show, not a podcast. Peter to show. Also, we have Cake Wallet. Seth from Cake Wallet. We'll be on at 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll go ahead and talk about Cake Wallet, amongst other things. And the People's Reserve. People's Reserve. CJ, like I said, multiple times already. CJ did a wonderful job at Bitcoin 2026. I'm telling you, as soon as they asked him who he was and he told them who he was, I knew it was game on. Seriously, like I'm not blowing smoke up his ass just because they're sponsoring the program. I'm serious. I sat back, I watched it. That man got words. That man got words, man. We'll be joined here by Crypto Landy. That's right. He's finally fixed, or he's found the connection. Okay. The man did not alert me that he will not be joining the program, so he can stay in the waiting room. He can stay in the fucking waiting room. How about that? With nothing. Stay in the waiting room with nothing. I'm out here thinking that, and I actually thought he would come through just because, like, oh, Peter Schiff. So I thought he would give his pre-game commentary. Who's here? Who's Miss CNN? I don't know who she's here for it. Apparently, you're here for an ass whipping. Not you, his ass whipping. He's wallin'. By the way, Gockstein.com is super close. I think next week we will have so many things and products coming out. Three months of work on this, and we're finally here. We're finally here. It feels good. All right, let's bring in Landy. See what Landy has to say here. People are laughing in the comments. Hold on. Where the hell? How do I bring him in here? Okay, here we go. Landy is here with us today. Look, great background. Love the background. Landy, what's going on? Good morning, or I don't know. I don't know what to say. Good day to you, sir.
It is the afternoon, so I am fairly close to your time zone. I believe it's the same time. It's 12:16. I have not slept. I have been up for about 36 hours, and yesterday I was in the middle of a forest. It was quite entertaining, actually, and I do apologize for pretty much straight up ghosting you, David. My bad. For those that maybe don't know,
I feel like it's like, you know, when you DM somebody,
yeah,
and it goes into fucking spam. They see it and they don't click accept.
It definitely didn't go into spam. I was able to send messages out and back and forth, but
yeah, like, shut up, bitch.
Yeah.
Okay, how about that? I'm gonna say that to you just like that, and I don't care if you get offended.
Well, you know what?
I saw you in Wolf Spaces. I saw you on Wolf Bitcoin Spaces. Okay.
After Peter came on the show.
Don't give me that after. Don't give me that. Your head got big, right? Your head's big now.
Well,
you think you're the shit now, right?
Bro, I am deep in the shit. I am.
Do not listen to him. Yesterday, after my frustration, by the way, Peter Schiff wore me out. No diddy. I'm just saying, an hour and 20 minutes going back and forth with Peter Schiff, that is a pro's game. Do you understand? That is not for newbies.
Yep.
Okay, that is tough, especially when your monitors are not working and you can't see his reactions. You know how tough that is? Do you know it is extremely tough to talk to somebody and not see their reactions?
Oh yeah.
Because like I want to be surgical with him. What do I hit him with? Like I can't see him. I feel like Van Damme in Bloodsport. I can't see.
It's like staring at this puppet PFP and just wondering, like, what is his reaction behind that PFP?
I sort of understand your reaction. I can tell by the voice, I guess. So I'm like guessing a little bit. But with Peter Schiff, I'm like, Bob and weave where, man? Like,
look, I think, and I like Peter. Like I'm wearing a Bitcoin crown, and I like Peter. I think he's wrong. I think that he
was totally with this whole Michael Saylor thing. Michael Saylor running a Ponzi. I had to put a stop to that. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, you think Michael Saylor woke up one morning saying, I'm going to run the biggest Ponzi scheme in the world? Like, that is, and that's why I told him, like, if he was doing this with gold, if Saylor was buying gold the way he's buying Bitcoin, he would have no problem with it. Also, I made a point, which we'll get to the markets right now. You know, Michael Saylor came out and said, we might sell Bitcoin. Now, something like that would have triggered the market to go completely backwards. I'm thinking about that seriously.
Yeah.
Something like that would have caused at least Bitcoin to really send backwards. But it held. It really, okay. Did it go? Was it because of him that it went? Like, I don't want to say so. Like,
that was
could
a
be in
better.
multiple factors that Bitcoin pulled back a bit,
Yeah,
but it wasn't because of him.
yeah. Well, that whole thing about selling Bitcoin under one MNAV was provided that they didn't just bolster their entire balance sheet with, runway until like 2028 for dividends.
Yeah.
So, and I think that, that's a mandatory disclosure kind of a thing, and also a little bit of a tongue in cheek kind of a jab, right? There's a lot of things that Sailor and Strategy can do with the Bitcoin that's on their balance sheet. And one of the things that Peter's starting point is that Bitcoin doesn't have any value, right? And when you start from that base, you can see how he arrives at the conclusion that he arrives at, right? So because he doesn't recognize it as having any value, he thinks it's worthless. Um, then you can actually extrapolate out his position to him clearly makes sense. And I'm with you after the first conversation that you had with him some months ago. He really does believe what he's talking about. I used to be in the camp that it was more of kind of a tongue in cheek trolling, and I've now listened to him more since then. And then I went back when I had some time yesterday, and I listened to a large portion of the discussion that you guys were having. And look, I just think that he's fundamentally wrong. And one of the things that he's a proponent of, I think, is just kind of, you know, not really, I don't see the value in on the gold side for tokenization of gold, outside of allowing for capturing of more flows in terms of capital.
You
You're
know
not
what's
gonna.
funny about that? He's all for like he's come a long way though.
Yeah.
So he wasn't really into crypto, but now you can tokenize gold because that's what
Mhm.
he's pushing,
Yeah.
right? So it's like it, there's so many things that I threw at him yesterday. Where like, what do you think it's worth? Like, what do you think Bitcoin's worth? Because he said it's worthless, and then he says it's worth $100. Might be worth $1,000, so it's worth something, right?
Well, I think it's fundamentally he doesn't understand um, the the proof of work network that is Bitcoin, um, and he doesn't recognize that. And I would argue that people around the world are waking up to the fact that energy is what makes economies, right? It's
Yeah.
all about energy, and there's the electrical energy that is produced via energy products, right? That we, drill in the ground for like oil, right? The rest of the world that was moving in the green direction very quickly figuring out that if you don't have oil, you can't build out that fancy green infrastructure and bloated expense and horrible environmental disaster that is the green new agenda. You can't even build it out without oil, right? And if oil and energy affects, you lack it, your economy will take a very large hit, right? And that's the base layer of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is energy. It's the result of proof of work, and it's proof of energy at the end of the day, on a time chain. And I think that he just does not um, I think that it's an active avoidance of understanding and a hardened belief that it is not worth anything. And realistically, my I would posit then what's the point of tokenizing gold then? Right? Like what is the point of tokenizing gold if you believe that Bitcoin, the largest cryptocurrency blockchain in the world in terms of its network, the most well known, the highest market cap, and I would argue the most well adopted within the large institutional infrastructure as it stands right now in terms of holdings. Well, then you don't actually believe in technology or the energy that powers it, and you don't actually believe that that what you would be doing in promoting tokenized gold is worth anything. And you just argue that, well, at least I could touch the shiny rock. I'm like, yeah, I can go and touch this ASIC that is,
You know,
out, you know,
one of the things he was saying, I'm trying to remember the things that, hour and 20 minutes worth of conversation.
there was a
He
lot, man.
said,
It was dense.
he said, gold's been around for 5,000 years.
Hmm.
Kind of like, throwing like, look, and it's been used and look at the price. Um, and Bitcoin's only been around for 15. I'm like, yeah, and it's at 127.
Yeah,
And now it's hovering at 80. So it's just, what are you saying?
yeah.
He goes, it might be the biggest bubble of all time.
The biggest
I'm like,
bubble
people
bubble
at
of
the end
all
of the
time
day,
is
people put
fiat
value. See,
bubbles.
here's my problem with this entire argument. People
Mhm.
put value. Yeah, I did get the suit at Walmart. It was on sale for $12. Um, the biggest the biggest thing that blows my mind is people don't understand. Some people that don't like Bitcoin don't understand that like, people put value on assets. It's the people. People have decided that Bitcoin is worth $80,000. Doesn't matter what you think. It really doesn't. Doesn't matter what you think. Doesn't matter what I think. The people have decided that Bitcoin is worth 80,000. They decided at one point it's worth 127. So you telling people, I said this also, Tim. What are you gonna do when Bitcoin goes to $1 million and you're telling everybody to sell? You have a core audience, right, that tunes into you, and you're telling them to sell Bitcoin. Yet Bitcoin goes to $1 million. How are you going to look? He didn't really have like when you start asking these kind of questions, like Peter comes like, and I've told you this before, Landy. I do believe, I do believe he believes that gold is the end all. Like this is not an act. Does he troll a little bit? Yeah, but like
Mhm.
90% of this is not an act. He loves gold. Can't, and he told me yesterday, even when more in depth, that like, hey, I could have got in 2010, 11. My friends got in, I didn't. So this
Yeah.
is also to me like, hey, I missed also at the same time. I missed the play. And I threw it at him also that like you should be diversified. I'm in gold, I'm in precious metals, I'm in crypto,
Yeah,
I'm
same.
real estate. Like you can do all these things. It's okay. It's
Yeah.
totally fine. So, like I think, and I get like, we had this conversation where I kind of agree with him, and I think you do too, Landy, where institutions they're out here saying $1 million because they have a product to sell. So we can agree with that, right?
Yeah, but so does he.
Exactly. I said, like, if Bitcoin is worthless, right? Why do you accept it on shiftgold.com? He goes into his tangent. It's BitPay that transfers the entire thing into money.
Into fiat. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that he can buy gold,
But
right?
I'm like, still, you offer a service that allows me to buy gold. I am a buyer. I don't give a shit what
Literally
BitPay
using
is doing.
Bitcoin as money to buy your
Correct.
gold.
And like he couldn't get out of it.
Yeah,
It
no.
handcuffed him. And it's
Well,
just like, bro, like, don't you see? And like when Iran is asking for $2 million in Bitcoin, why are they asking for Bitcoin and not $2 million in gold?
exactly.
So it's like these. I think the problem is in during these debates, right? I sit back and I watch these debates with Peter and others. I think people make it too complicated. Like you're trying to explain to him like Bitcoin is energy, right?
Yeah,
He's not gonna get that.
it's
When
because
you break
he
it down on like simplistic terms like that, like look at your
yeah,
site, why is it not? There's no argument anymore.
yeah,
Then it becomes semantics. And if you watch later on into the show, it's semantics. It's just like
it is.
tag, you're it kind of thing. So
Well, the biggest thing, David, I think with and I have a really quick take on Bitcoin that I'll end with here, but when it comes to those that are betting on gold um as a very large part of their portfolio position, it's a bet against fiat currencies, just like Bitcoin. And for gold to reach the incredible heights that he would, be looking at for gold and that are some of the projections that are out there and then have been out there for a very, very long time. Many forget that $5,000 gold was a twinkle in Peter Schiff's eye 10 years ago, right? And in this case, what you're betting on is that we will see fundamental a fundamental break in the economic system that fiat uses that would cause gold to go even more parabolic than it's already gone at this point. And those systems always fall apart. And then what we have is an entire reset to the commodity baseline. And that means that, gold might go to, if it were to go to, let's say, 10, 15, $20,000 an ounce, the correction would be to uh, to a normalization, right? And the same would happen with Bitcoin, by the way. So for those that, and this is where I'm fundamentally in disagreement with the $1 million Bitcoin crowd in this regard, because if you see $1 million Bitcoin, you're going to see much higher gold as well. You're going to see much higher prices all across the board because inflation would be absolutely rampant. And yes, there's arguments to be made like, no, it would be just the increased adoption at a global scale and all this other stuff. Like, yeah, but if you're seeing that type of a hedge come through with, commodities and Bitcoin that's being seen by the wider or being talked about, not being it, because this is not the way the market is treating Bitcoin. Bitcoin is being treated as a risk on asset still, just like all of crypto. But you see that the talk out there about Bitcoin is that of a hedge against inflation, a store of value, and all of the same things that you hear about commodities like gold. But if they are to go crazy to the upside, we have fundamental global structural issues with fiat currencies, and they will all reset to a baseline, right? Because it's unsustainable, right? You would see rampant inflation. You'd see just not just poverty, but destitution across the board. You would also see, those same massive rises in any type of property. So real estate, right? Across the board in any kind of physical item and food and everything else, right? We would be in dire straits if we were to see that anytime soon, right? And that means that there would be an an entirely new system that would need to be built. And what would it likely be built on? Well, those commodities, right? And
yeah.
Bitcoin is the hedge for that future. I would argue that the gold and silver and other commodities are also the hedge for that future. And energy is the hedge for that future. That's why you see what's happening around the world on the global stage regarding oil right now, right? And production, because it's about what's going to happen with reality and what do you need to underpin production, what do you need to have functioning economies and societies. You need energy. So, but real quick, Bitcoin price action hit a very key level overhead that you and I have discussed. I've talked to you about this, I've shown it on the charts, and it was above 78 to 80. I was looking for 82.5 to $83,000. We got that pretty much perfectly. Around the 82, between 82.7 and 82.9. So we spiked right into a key area. As long as the trend is up, I would say that there is still the opportunity to test higher into the mid 80s, somewhere around 85 to 86, potentially even higher into the upper 80s, low 90s. But that would be, Bitcoin's got to, continue to get closes above. I would say, for those in the audience here, keep an eye on closes above $78,000. I think that would be generally good to try further up or retest the overhead resistance. But if we do start to lose that area, the last higher low on the daily for at least the daily trend is around $75,000. And if we do see a trend break, likely we start to see Bitcoin get maybe a little bit of consolidation or a wider correction, and we kind of reevaluate from there. You want to see the weekly close above this area. That would prove that the bulls can recapture a prior support area that was tested as resistance over these past few weeks, and maybe increase the chances of continued higher lows on the weekly time frame. But got to give it a chance here. Don't be surprised if you do see a wider correction. But as I've mentioned over and over again, keep a very close eye on oil. If it's down, risk assets are going to go up. You'll see equities continue to plumb the highs for NASDAQ and SPY. Maybe we'll get a little rotation within Dow that sees that actually start to move back to the upside and test its all-time highs. But keep an eye on oil. It's going to be very important going forward as the market is moving with risk, with an eye for what's going on with the oil markets. We have demand destruction occurring very heavily in Europe and Asia, and that's causing some capital flight and a risk on trade. And as long as oil is down, we'll see that risk on trade will remain attractive. So I'm not sure if anybody could hear me or if I cut out there.
No, my thing has again. Oh boy. Of course. You know what? I gotta shut off these. You know what? Maybe too much Wi-Fi. I don't know. But Landy, hopefully we see you on here. Well, we should see you on here at 140, to go, or 145 to go toe to toe with the guy who is infatuated with microphones.
Yes, I'll be back to talk with you and Rob later.
Thank you very much. And guys, we'll be right back after this commercial break with Victor from the TON community. Right after this, I can get this goddamn thing to work.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh, wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's where we build Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Of course, I'm back. You know, I hope this works. Come on. I've done everything to fix this goddamn problem with these technical problems this week have been horrific, man. This is bad. Anyway, let's bring in Victor. Victor, what's going on? How's everything going, man?
Hey, GM, David. Doing good. Thank you. Thank you for having me. How can you hear me? Is everything working?
I can hear you, man. I can hear you. It's good to have you on the program. Obviously, great news for you guys and for the Ton Network.
Oh, yeah. It's been incredible to see what's happening right now and Pavel stepping in with Telegram to play a much more active role, leading role in Ton ecosystem, which is by all the noise on the timeline. And this is actually massive. The moves they are doing, are public, and I've been covering them on my page, but yeah, that's insane. Telegram is already a number two largest validator on the network, and that happened in such a quick time. So that continues, and yeah, it's a phenomenal sight to see. Absolutely. So a lot of positive news, but this is only the beginning of the roadmap. We're not like even 50% through yet, you know.
Were you guys blown away when like Pavel started to come out there and tweet a lot more aggressively?
Absolutely thrilled to see it, but yeah, not that I've never expected it to happen. I thought that, and in fact, I had a conversation on the timeline in replies with someone, with a community member, and I said that I see that this is inevitable, but everything has its own time. So the time has come, and we all see the impact of this.
What do you think Pavel brings now? Like, because I'm assuming he's going to be extremely active moving forward. It's not just going to be a few tweets here and then he's going to disappear.
No, I mean, he is not going to disappear, surely. At this point, Telegram, you see, that's been one of the biggest concerns in crypto community in general, that Telegram wasn't 100% committed in a way to Ton, at least because they were, separated. So now the Telegram said, well, we got to be at the steering wheel and help to, release new tools for developers, update the website, etc., etc. This is a very magnificent steps that gives the confidence to the market that, hey, this is not just a side project or something that Telegram uses. This is actually an infrastructure layer that Telegram is heavily relying on to, and they're directly in your face telling you that. So when you think over it, of course, there's been a lot of commitments from the Telegram side. We've discussed them previously, right? There is Telegram gifts, there is Telegram NFT usernames, there is Telegram NFT anonymous numbers. There is the Telegram mini app integration, where only Tom Connect is allowed to be used. The monetization on Telegram runs on Ton. So if you have a public channel, you monetize. The only way to get a payout is on Ton. The same goes for developers who run the mini apps. And if you want to place ads, also you pay in Ton. So this is all the examples of the usage of Ton. There is, of course, more Cocoon AI that Telegram is building as well. You may have heard a couple things, which is decentralized computing network, and then people providing GPU power and in reward receiving Ton for doing so, while Telegram get access to uh, computing energy at the very cheap cost at the market rate, and yeah, can scale up, which is very important. And also the fact that it handles the data in the decentralized format. But this is a couple of use cases that already exist, right? And they're just progressing further. But outside of that, now what we're also seeing is that Telegram is stepping in as the major validator in the network, which is also another significant move, like providing the counterbalance to other major players, not to outweigh, not to let them outweigh also. And I think this is very important, all collectively. It's like it's the steps enabling the ecosystem to function that is truly gives the control over to the end user and to the builder, where Telegram is just the platform and Ton is powering up the ownership with Hina.
Vic, what do you think about what people are saying? Because I've been reading the timeline. People are like, okay, this happened on ETH where, you had, ETH week, as I call it, where people switched from Solana, went to Ethereum, and, went into Ethereum memes real quick. And then everybody, after meeting the Mep bots and Jared from Subway, they went right back to Solana. Now people are on the timeline, and I made a tweet about this, but people on the timeline saying the same thing about Ton, that this is like a 1 week thing, at most 2 weeks, and then everybody will be back to Solana to go ahead and participate in the meme economy. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's incredible that we have many ecosystem players that, while also creating a competitive market, if I may say. To me, that seems very natural and very good because community can compare user experience and as well, like the rates of fuck ups, etc. Like all of those things are important in combination. Overall, I'd say, we're looking at the timeline, and right now I've been having a lot of conversations. It doesn't seem that people are pivoting away. Seems like more people are getting in, and more builders getting in, and more degens from other ecosystems getting in, and they only start to ask questions. So if you think of it, it's like doesn't seem like the end of a trend. Seems quite the opposite, the beginning, and people learning what already exists, where they could access this and that, and what maybe still doesn't, and they could build something of their own. In fact, I've spoke to a few builders these days too, and are people really interested in building in this ecosystem because of its massive distribution and because it's crypto native, and it's also a crypto native crowd on the platform. So we're seeing a lot of that, and yeah, I mean, I understand why people are skeptical toward it. The difference this time is that here it happened completely organic, and then the ecosystem been maturing for a couple years. This is not a point that many been highlighting, that the ecosystem wasn't at the peak of activity nor attention for a very long time. Yet the very significant things been happening, such as the Ton and Telegram is still number one ecosystem for gaming across the board. The NFT volume on Ton flipped Ethereum, another thing, right? So it's like you see all this activity. You see that there are millions of people holding gifts as well. I mean, you're like, okay. So the infrastructure was maturing, the DEXs are available, Ton is listed everywhere, right? The Bridges has added Ton network and connectivity with it, even if we speak of the largest, such as Stargate, etc., right? So now, after all the updates on the Mtonga roadmap by Pavel, it creates the environment where people want to try to participate. And why those updates were crucial, I also wanted to highlight, is because you see the speed to finality on Ton before wasn't very quick, and people weren't really satisfied. Think over it: if you press sign the transaction and wait for a couple seconds for it to confirm with the loading logo in front of you. Now it's happening instantly. That's a big difference. Ton is now one of the fastest blockchain with one of the fastest finality speeds, and I think you may have seen Pavel
Yeah,
posted
I saw it.
recently. So that's a beautiful comparison for you to put that in perspective. But before that, the trading experience wasn't the same. So that was a very major improvement. That's why meme coins start already seeing momentum after that point. When the fees were slashed down, now trading is not only quick, but it's so affordable that it's arguably cheaper than on many other blockchains you would put in comparison to. So all of that went toward the increased volumes and even just the OG community themselves. Because now they were like, oh, wow, now this experience feels nice. And then Pavel went bull posting, and people were like, wait a second now. Telegram is fully, truly backing up Ton and saying that they will be taking leading role, and they start beating and trying to explore what's happening here. So I don't see that as a temporary trend. In fact, I see that as a constant development of ecosystem and expansion toward all the different directions. That includes AI, that includes the developers, that includes memes, NFTs, and gaming and DeFi ecosystem. Which I wanted to leave the most important for the last. I wanted to speak a little bit about DeFi because before, for many DeFi players, it's been quite challenging and tough. Why is because native yield was very low. Now that the block production speed increased, it means that the validator rewards increased, meaning that the staking yield went over 20% API yield. And this is crazy. So if you think over it, if you're staking right now, you would be growing your relative supply share at a rate about 13 to 18% a year, adjusted to inflation and everything.
Yeah.
And this is not a fabulous thing because now participating in DeFi scene, staking ton, or maybe going into lending and borrowing them kind of makes a little bit more sense than with a yield of 4%, let's say, right? Because 20% plus, it does add a significant weight. So we see also the TVL increase, and we also saw that more people are actually allocating time to staking, and even OG community members, because they weren't planning to sell. They're like, okay, well, now I got a yield. And so that's what they are eyeing as well. And there's been a report actually today retweeted from Dan. He wrote a little bit more, and I've done one like a week or two ago as well, accessible in my highlights. But it shows you how the yield may change depending on percentage of ton of the circulating supply locked, and you can see what the bottom line is and everything. So if you want to dive into this a little bit and understand what's happening in DeFi, that may be also a very interesting avenue to explore. But that all shows you that, you see, it's not just about the one single part of the ecosystem. All of them are equally important, and Telegram is taking the lead. So we got to see what's going to happen next. But step 4, 5, 6, and 7 are yet on the way. So we're only on the step 3, where
Yeah.
Telegram becomes the largest validator in ton. And right now they're number 2.
I love the breakdown. I love the breakdown. Let me give you a round of applause. And they said that you're quiet, Vic. They said that you're quiet. All right. I want to ask you. Every chain has I would say every smart chain has attempted to take mind share in the meme economy. I can understand why. You know, you got to bring the people in first, and then obviously you can go ahead and do other things to build out your blockchain. Is that the focus with Ton right now? I know that Telegram has a billion plus active users on the platform. But are you specifically focused, or is Ton specifically focused to capture mindshare within the meme community?
I wouldn't say that, like Ton focusing to capture the mind share. I think that once again, it happened very natural. It's
Yeah.
like people just came over and were like, okay, that's interesting. And now the trading experience is actually also good. It's also integrated into the Telegram at a big scale, and they just exploring. So that wasn't a forced push. That's the thing. It's like it just naturally came about as Paul
So,
went ballistic at
but Vic,
posting ton and everything. So it's
Vic,
like,
I'm
yeah.
not talking about like I'm just saying in general. Like, I'm not saying you guys are pushing. How do I put this?
I
I
mean, for
know it was
innovation in
organic.
this regard, yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
I
It's
know it
like,
was organic. 100%. I know that because like Pavel came out, he makes the tweet. People noticed Ton, right? And the attention span here, and obviously in crypto, there's a new meta popping off all the time, right? And uh, we all know that Telegram has a billion plus users on the platform. I'm just with that coming with Pavel coming in, with Telegram having more validators and wanting to take over the blockchain in general. I would sit back if I'm a part of the Ton team. I'd be like, okay, there is a section within the crypto ecosystem that I want, and that is the meme culture part of it.
yeah. So, um, the meme culture is very important. We've, as a foundation, tried to host the competitions in the past, etc. Not necessarily that that was most impactful, but we given it a try. And speaking of the infrastructure, I think it's most important to enable good experience for people exploring ecosystem and trading. Foundation actually hosted quite many hackathons. Um, and allow developers to participate and also improve and create the very needed tools that maybe never existed before that also needed in the meme scene, for example. And there has been quite a amount of conversations, and I want to say thanks to community actually rather than us foundation, but they really wanted to see tax tokens as a part of innovation being accepted by the leading dexes. So
Yeah.
community and many community members went in circles making sure to talk to StoneFi and to make things happen. And I've tweeted the news that now the tax tokens from Stonk's meme pad is going to be also after bonding accessible
I saw that.
to trade via the OmniStone. And this is a very crucial, important step. And I was paying attention. There's been many people pinging in this regard, but I would say it's a community who made it happen the most, right?
Yeah.
But of course, those improvements are being needed, and Foundation helped to do the steps to form the infrastructure around. What you see now is that there's many ecosystem players, and I can name a few like Tonko, Dida, StoneFi, D-Trade, right? It's like some of them are relatively new and they coming out of the hackathons or our support programs, right? And like there's been a few different ones that we hosted throughout the years, and that all been helping to improve an experience for everyone. So in a way, yes, but there have been very important changes that had to happen relating to the trading itself, such as the updates on the Mtonga roadmap, step 1 and step 2, increasing the blockchain finality speed and decreasing the transaction fees. So those two steps really made a big difference, because before it wasn't really that enjoyable for many people to trade, especially with the high frequency trading. Now there is not that big of a difference doing it from any other blockchain where you would experience that earlier on.
Do you find it fascinating that the memes are booming though, Anton?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think community really wanted it all this time, and many community members spent some of the efforts to actually build a couple of tools. Like Mr. Satoshi built Old Tone Store, and it just highlights all the different tools and meme pads and etc. in the ecosystem. It's like a very useful portal. But his approach was also toward all the directions, but he wanted to be more specific. So he separates into the dexes, into the meme pads, and all of this. So community wanted this information to become more accessible and been working on to making that the case. So I'd say, yeah, right now it is incredible to see it, but the community is doing most of the efforts, talking to new people from other ecosystems, to whales, sharing an insights, etc. Like it's a massive community in the first place, and they are all been always keen to have memes living their own life as well. There's a lot of DJs. There's also people that are only into the NFTs. I also wanted to say for you to understand, some people are not really touching memes. They're like, nah, it's too speculative to me. You know what? I'm gonna stick to something I understand.
Just gonna
Trading
buy
Telegram
Plush
usernames is
Pepe,
something I
right?
enjoy. So some people doing that too.
They're just gonna stick to buying plush Pepes, right?
Yeah, well, some people are. I actually, in fact, know like 4 people that are constantly trading some of the top collections of Telegram gifts, and that's all they do. Like they trade them, flip for 100, 200, 300 ton profit at a time. Like not just in one collection, but the ones that have healthy, consistent volume and more or less higher floor prices. And it's incredible to see because yes, there are people just doing that. And that's a couple folks that I know that are doing this. And the same happening in the usernames. I've asked Plug and Frag actually recently, what do you think about the usernames if I would be considering getting in, what budget I need, etc. As of today, where do you see still opportunities? They say, well, in the 4-letter usernames or the ones that meaning something, like think at OpenSea, right? So that was the suggestion. But that was an interesting to hear because it shows you that it's not just one type of asset. I think in people coming into the ecosystem, they also go and explore. A good example would be Frank, who joined recently and went straight away for getting plush pepper. Why? Because that's a group of many holders in Ton ecosystem, people that actually understand what's going on here. And you also have ability to flex it next to your Telegram profile, right on it, right? This is incredible. It's better than Hexagon PFPs in the past, and the only way to use it if you have one. So yeah, that's you see, it also enables you networking, gives you status, recognition, and chats, and plus it also allows you to speculate on it as a collectible, which is, everyone has a different reasoning why they get things, right? So if, for example, you just want to be a part of the group, maybe you need one. But if you want to speculate, some people get two, three, four, etc. Like I have four. I'm not saying I'm not trying to speculate, right? But it's not that uh, I'm rushing either to do anything with them, because there's a very small amount of them. But this is just one out of many examples that is accessible in ecosystem. And what we see is that the market cap, even of gifts, increased as we saw this meme coin inflow and the inflow of activity. So all the assets are increasing in visibility and the liquidity in a way. And people are exploring not just one branch, but all of them. Memes just spark a lot of attention because I think there's been a day that everything, like literally every single thing you would take within the ecosystem was like in green. And that did happen. And so yeah, the community is very happy to see an activity in here, and they will continue pushing it. That's one thing I can tell you.
You do got a large community, that's for sure. Nobody can ever question that. The distribution, I mean, that's off the charts. Where do you see? Last question. Uh, I'm sure you've been asked this, but what do you see in the next 6 months with the current situation at hand, with Pavel back in the, like, really in the mix? Where do you see? Do you see Ton being in the top 10 in terms of market cap?
I mean, I can't be commenting on that, but I could tell you I see Ton as the top ecosystem choice for developers and for community to explore. You see, there is very little ecosystems that allowing you to tap into really viral potential of it. So think over the distribution situation as we've been discussing. It's one of the biggest advantages, right? But why? It's because the developer can come in and build a product on Ton and Telegram as a mini app and launch his own product and enable Ton Connect. And then he has access to distribution. He can introduce viral mechanics, referral rewards, etc., and attract millions of people. There is realistically no other ecosystem where that's kind of possible as of today. It's going to cost you a lot of marketing resources to achieve the very same result. I mean, for crypto gaming, that wasn't, necessarily a fairy tale throughout the time. So I think as a choice for developers is one of the best. And I can tell you in terms of the market cap and how I see the future, one thing I could tell you is that it's extremely positive to see Pavel Durov and Telegram taking a lead. And there's more steps on the roadmap to pay attention to. And we will see how that could affect the market. By myself, not even moved by the swings just yet.
You know, I appreciate you. You've been on here what, 3-4 times already, way before this has happened. Okay, I just want to make that very clear. I've always been interested in the network. Way before Pavel came out there and made the tweet. So it's nice to see, number one, people like you who have been with the network for such a long time, to see this happen, and there's more attention being paid now to Ton. So it's nice. It's gratifying, especially I'm sure for you. It's gratifying that people are looking and they're interested. So that's cool. That's 100%. That's dope. It's good to see, and it's good to see healthy competition, and it's good to see a network like, I mean, Telegram. We've talked about it before. 1 billion plus active users. That's something. That's not something to go ahead and push it aside. If everything goes right, you can't talk about market caps, but I can. I can definitely see Tom go into the, if not top 15, top 10, and that's easy. just
I
because you got a loyal
mean, the last
audience.
time I've checked, is actually one quite up in ranking on CMC and CoinGecko. But yeah, I don't think so. It's even too far off from what you're saying.
So yeah, that's and I like the fact that Pavel's a part-time troll. That
Oh,
worked.
bro, you've seen this about the
Oh my
Cardano
god, bro!
situation, you know, shit.
I've been watching,
Man,
and I'm just like, this man is a troll. This is and this is the Eastern European type of trolling. This is not just regular trolling. This is not American trolling. This is a
you know what I found entertaining is that there's been proposed community note to that post to actually claim that this is a mistake regarding the last crypto on the list.
yeah.
But then, what resource you gonna point? Like an official website? I mean, the documentation, because that's what was referenced. So
I like the way he said. I gotta tip my cap to him because, like he said, well, I'm just going based on this, and
yeah,
it's a different type of troll. It's a I admire it. Obviously, being from New York City, we're all trolls here, so I admire I admire his gangsterness, man. It was funny to watch. But at the end of the day, it's healthy competition, right?
it is.
And that breeds better products in my eyes. When it's healthy and it's not violent, you get where I'm going with this, Vic. When it's healthy and everybody's trying to be number one, that's great. That's great. You know who benefits? We do. Retail benefits. So
The
I'm all for it.
users, yes.
So I want to see Ton succeed. I want to see everybody succeed. I want to see all the teams that put in effort
Yeah.
succeed. But it's nice again to be. Sorry to be repetitive, but it's nice to see Ton getting some spotlight here. Um, and of course, they're going to get it when a huge name like Pavel comes out there and starts saying, "Hey, like this is what we're doing now."
You know, one thing I wanted to also mention is that it seems there's something else brewing because today, and I've posted about this too, like a few hours ago, I believe. But if you go to Telegram and on anyone's profile right now, it's at the top showing you the official channel of the Paul Durov and saying for you to stay tuned,
I got an
basically.
alert. I got
And
an alert.
yeah, so what I'm saying is, it's like that a concentration of attention. So I mean, Val never does anything accidentally, you know.
I
That's
never
just what I'm trying to say, and that is an interesting move.
respectfully, I never followed his, and I just never followed his channel, and it popped up today. If you go onto your Telegram, you'll see like the pop up from him or for his channel to
Yeah.
follow, and I think it did say stay tuned. So that
Yes. I mean, I've tweeted it. I can read exactly what it says, but um, yeah, this is very amazing to see because it shows that there is probably some deeper reasoning for doing that. So it says actually, stay updated, channel of Paul Durov, the founder of Telegram, and it's literally at the top before the chats.
Victor, it's always hopefully I get you back on next month so we can go and chop it up a little bit more about Ton. But I appreciate you always coming on and always being available. That's been cool. And I see you're more active on X, or maybe I don't know, but I see you all over my timeline now. You're way more active now.
Yeah, well, I've been always active. I've been tweeting every day, breaking
Yeah.
news. I tweet a lot. I retweet a lot. I engage with the community. I'm seeing what they do. I try to support all the different community members coming from all the different cultures and countries. To me, that's what it always been. I've been a global community lead
Yeah.
at some foundation. So the more people I could make sure to onboard properly and to save them some headache, the better it is. And in fact, I've actually walked some whales through how to buy a plush Pepe. You know, they had some troubles on the way, etc. I'm sure at some point they will share their experiences too.
Well, I got a
But it's
story
like
for
I
you
went
about
talking
my
to them one on
experience.
one.
I got a story for you.
But
I'll save that off air.
yeah, absolutely. So what I'm trying to say is, it's been incredible to see people coming over, and more and more people paid attention to my page. I think I've got like 3,000 followers around that in the last couple of days. It's insane. It's a lot of degens from all the ecosystems, not just one.
Listen, I said like obviously you can't comment on this. I can, you know, at the end of the day, a lot of people came into crypto to make profit and make gains. So to be stuck and act like this is a sporting event is idiotic, and that's all I'll say. And I'll give an example. People didn't think Solana would do anything, and that was ETH heads, ETH maxis. People will call me an ETH maxi. Refused to go over to Solana and participate, and now the same people that refused came late to the party to participate. So
It took him
yeah,
time. Yeah.
you have to appreciate every chain. It's the smart people, the smart traders are not stuck to one chain. That's it. Bottom line, they're more than happy to move over to the next chain wherever the profits may lay or the better network. So, yeah, Vic, congratulations, and obviously it's just the start for you guys, and I hope you guys go much higher. That's it, and that's my honest take on that.
Big ups to the community and thanks to all of them for making it possible. I believe Tom has like over 150 million holders of a native token alone, which is insane. So shout out to every single one of them
Thank
who
you.
makes
Shout
it
out.
a reality. It's not possible with that community, and those people are gonna go either until zero or hero. And it's incredible to see such a community formed around such a technology. So thank you for having me, David. Have a good evening too, and appreciate
Thank you,
you.
Victor. I
Let's
appreciate
get it.
you.
I'm Tonga.
That's Victor, man. One of like I've had Victor on 3 or 4 times now. Very Chad. He's a Chad. Knows everything, the ins and outs of Ton, and it just I sit back and more so want to just listen to him chop it up. I'm happy though to see that Pavel comes out there and says what he says. You guys have seen the tweets. You've followed it. No, this is not something new to you guys, and I like the troll part of him. I'm not gonna front. I like how he trolls. He got the Eastern European trolling in him. He does. We'll be right back after this commercial break, and I'm going to try to get my goddamn network here to fucking work with me. Please work, please.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. We're back. I can't fix it. I cannot fix the monitors. I can't. I'm going nuts. I'm going nuts. I'm absolutely going nuts. It's not working in my favor. It really isn't. Welcome back to the breakdown, episode 705. Good conversations today. We're having good convos. We had Victor from the TON blockchain network on here talking about, obviously, they've been the talk of the town for the last few days. Pavel has come out and said that Telegram has taken over, so that's cool. What else? We had Peter Shift on yesterday where all my monitors went blank. We have the clip coming out, by the way. We have the clip with the actual overlay, which again, my overlay wasn't working. Yo, what is up? It's like somebody is. I'm saging myself. I'm after this show. It's Friday. It's 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, May 8th. I am after this show. I am saging myself. Anyway, we have another guest here. It is 1:15 p.m. We have Seth here, and Seth is from Cake Wallet, and I've been waiting to get somebody. I've been talking about this, getting somebody from Cake Wallet on. Seth, what's going on, man?
Thanks for having me on, David. Excited to chat. And I've had Vic on a couple times over the past year or so, but first time for me, so I'm pumped to be on here.
Well, I'm glad that you came on. By the way, congratulations on the 2 awards that you guys got at Bitcoin 2026. That's big to get recognized, and I definitely like the spot that Cake Wallet was in. You got to see Cake Wallet as soon as you came into the conference. Let's talk about the awards. How'd you guys feel about getting that?
Yeah, I mean, so excited. Obviously, Vic kicked things off in 2018. It's been working his ass off since then, and we've had just an incredible team working on this for so long. Obviously, there's been the users loving us, the growth. That's a great sign of that what we're doing is actually on the right track. But obviously, there's something extra special about an actual award where people are voting. This was a community voting throughout the Bitcoin community, specifically on best wallet of the year and best security and privacy app of the year. So it's awesome to be able to see that, just to be able to actually have a physical trophy as well. I don't have one here. We're talking like we need to get a copy made for everyone on the team, so we can all have them in our backdrop when we're jumping on things like this. But yeah, honestly, just really good kind of confirmation that what we're building is actually resonating with people, or not just kind of building what we want, even though that's a key part of, I think, building a good product, but ultimately building something that people in the Bitcoin space want. And I think maybe a funny side part of that is just that we're not a Bitcoin only, Bitcoin maxi product, and yet are the best wallet in the Bitcoin space, which make of that what you will. But yeah, it was a good time.
What was the feedback? Speaking of, what was the feedback about Cake Wallet at the conference?
It was really, really cool to see. I think there's been a pretty dramatic shift over the last really 18 months in terms of recognition of Cake Wallet throughout the Bitcoin space specifically. Like, I mean, we've had Bitcoin and been doing cutting edge things in Bitcoin for years now, but it never really marketed outside of the Monero space. And that was one of the things that I pushed on really hard when I got in, because I've been more connected in the Bitcoin space, especially over the last 5-6 years. And was like, I think we really need to push hard in the Bitcoin space because we have all these novel features, this awesome privacy tech, like the cross-chain crypto swaps are just hugely useful. But we hadn't been talking about them a lot. So we started getting into the Bitcoin space, 2 conferences last year especially. And the shift between last year, where it was almost always like, who is Cake Wallet? How have I not heard of you? Even though you've been around since 2018, even though you have over 1 million downloads, like what's going on here? How haven't I heard this name? To this year, overwhelmingly, people coming to the booth knew about Cake Wallet, had heard about what we're doing, and really just kind of wanted to know more detail. Like what really are silent payments and pay join? Like how did you do Lightning in a way that works so well when it's been so tricky? Like more just kind of getting their questions answered rather than having to introduce the company as a whole. So that was a great shift for us. And again, kind of a tipping point, I think, in the Bitcoin space in terms of people understanding that we're here to stay. We're building things that are novel. We're not just shipping the bare minimum. But really trying to build out cutting edge tech here.
That obviously I've been watching like Vic build out Cake Wallet forever, like, and I respect it because like, how many people stay here and then after a while say, screw this, I'm out. And he puts in his own money, and I think he's built a phenomenal product. Obviously, having you on the team, focusing on Bitcoin, that's a good thing. I mean, like, what wallet out there really, with the way you guys have everything set up, what wallet really competes with you guys?
I mean, when it comes to actually doing interesting things on Bitcoin, I would say almost no one, like very specifically, and we didn't even realize this until we launched it, but there are no multi-crypto wallets out there that are doing Bitcoin Lightning. We are the only one as of when we launched it 3 months ago. No, that's not even to get into the more rare things like silent payments and pay join. So I think that's been something that's really cool about, and like one of the things that drew me to work here at Cake Wallet when I talked to Vic over the years and finally decided to make the jump was like we do cutting edge novel things on Bitcoin, but we're also not restricting ourselves to only Bitcoin. It's like very much we understand that like this is a multi-crypto world we're living in. It's not a Bitcoin only world. I think one of the powerful features of cryptocurrency is that unlike fiat, where it's really hard to go between dollars and pounds, it's really hard to actually exchange currencies. You pay massive fees. When you go crypto to crypto, it's seamless, it's very fast, very low fees. And that lets us do different things on each chain and focus on different things. And like you mentioned, you just had the guys on from Ton who have obviously a very different focus than like the Bitcoin community or the Monero community or even the Ethereum community. But the beauty is people can seamlessly go between those. So I think that's been something that, again, has been a key niche for us is we're serving people who are more Bitcoin centric, but not limiting ourselves to that and building out something that really can serve the reality, which is that most people, they need stable coins because those have become, for better or worse, a critical part of much of the world's economy at this point. They need privacy coins because people want to be able to pay and not have to worry in the back of their minds. How is this going to be traced back to me? What are they going to learn about me? Will they understand how much my net worth is just because I buy this cup of coffee? And then people want Bitcoin because it's proven itself as the store of value and something that people can depend on long term. So serving all of those is really, really unique and shockingly unique, I think. I would expect others to be doing that. But normally I think people approach Bitcoin as just like a throwaway, like, yeah, we have to support Bitcoin. Whereas like it's deeply core to our values here at Cake.
You can tell that. And I know, listen, yes, the show is sponsored by Cake Wallet, but I've been a fan of Cake Wallet since I saw Vic out there, and we've worked together in the past. I'm still waiting for my merch, but it is what it is. I'll go ahead and
gotta get you wearing a Cake shirt under the suit. Maybe we can do that.
I will rip off this shirt with the Cake Wallet.
There we go, Superman style.
Privacy made a comeback. I think let's go 4 or 5 months ago. There was a Zcash, Monero. It started with Zcash a little bit, and then Monero started moving. Dash went and moved. Right now, people are kind of sitting back from the conversations that I have, and they're like, I think somebody who said this, Charles from Cardano and Midnight Now. He said Monero is everything that Bitcoin wanted to be. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's fascinating. You talk about this shift over the last 4, 5, 6 months.
Yeah,
where suddenly it seems like everyone's like, oh yeah, privacy actually matters again. It's funny because it's just like everything else. Like,
Seth, who wants to know? Like, I don't want to know your net worth, and you shouldn't know mine, right? It's just like it just makes sense.
Yeah, it's always been fundamental. Like if you talk about privacy, I think a lot of people maybe can convince themselves that they don't care too much about privacy outside of finances. Finances is the sticking point. When you talk to anybody, like no one's going to give you their bank statement. Everyone would be horrified to know that their credit card statement with all of the things that they buy, all of their subscriptions, if that were to leak and to be visible for the entire world, like that's nightmare fuel for most people. Like there is so much. Basically everything about you can be learned from what you do with your money, because ultimately you put your money into where your values are, into what your hobbies are, who you care about, the causes you support. All of that is going to be shown with how you actually use your money. So there's always been this desire for financial privacy. I think a lot of people just in the legacy banking credit card system just assume they don't have any because these companies are constantly selling this data, constantly giving it away, being hacked, etc. And then in the crypto world, people at first assumed it was private. Thankfully that we're finally through that. No one assumes that anymore. We understand the vast majority of cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, etc., are are even more transparent than the legacy banking system normally.
Yeah.
And so the shift is now finally happening where people are understanding, okay, I've always wanted financial privacy, but now I think I can actually achieve it. And I think that's the switch that is flipped, is now that there are practical, useful tools. I mean, Monero's been that for the last decade plus. Zcash is starting to become that. It seems like they're at least getting some usage now and some growth in the market. More Bitcoin privacy tools are being built out. And I think at the same time, whenever you see that switch flip, you also see that so many people in the space are going to jump on the narrative, because jumping on the prevailing market narrative is important for any company in the space, anyone building a product. But it's always interesting to me when there are people like the Monero community, like Cake Wallet, who have been building around privacy and understood that this was always going to be necessary. This wasn't something we could just bolt on top and have like as a nice to have, but financial privacy was absolutely vital to this stuff, providing human freedom. It's been cool to see that narrative shift and come around, but it is always funny to me when that happens, and we always go through these kind of cycles where people are like, oh yeah, privacy matters, and then you'll see a lot of people just stop caring about it at some point when the market narrative shifts, and the few who do really deeply care about it will keep building on it and keep improving.
Where do you see privacy protocols going in the next 6 to 8 months?
In terms of like technical development or markets, or
Development,
what specifically?
Markets, you know, do you see more exchanges maybe listing more privacy coins? Obviously, they've taken most of the privacy coins down, but do you see a resurgence in privacy protocols coming in the next 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think there's this.
And maybe throw this in there, or we don't even need exchanges in general.
I think that's really the critical part here, and something that has been fascinating. Like, I've been in the Monero community now since 2017. Obviously, Monero's been around since 2014. These delistings and the pressure on and off ramps to remove Monero have been something like we've been battling for the better part of a decade now. So it's not new to us. And so because of that pressure, like, the Monero community learned to adapt very quickly and focus more on cross-chain swaps. If you have Bitcoin, can you just swap into Monero directly? Can we skip the fiat step entirely and not rely on direct USD to Monero, but rather just jump through other more decentralized, more censorship-resistant hoops? So that's been pretty normal in the Monero ecosystem. But I think that's relatively new. Like, we've seen Zcash focus more on decentralized exchanges and crypto-to-crypto swaps with the implementation of Near Intents, and then Maya, Thorchain now as well. Where, again, this is one of the superpowers of crypto, is you're not going to stop all of it. And I think it's very clear no one wants to stop Bitcoin at this point, really. Like, they're very, very happy to fold it into the legacy system and let people acquire it via approved, controllable means. So there's easy access to, like, Bitcoin, a ton of other cryptocurrencies as well, stable coins too. If you can get any of those, if you can buy Bitcoin, if you can buy Tether, if you can buy USDC, you can swap into any of these privacy coins in seconds. And there's essentially no one that can stop that. And the protocols are only getting faster and more censorship resistant as we go. So it won't really matter, I think, whether or not they're listed as much on centralized exchanges, as people start to shift away from that and become more crypto native, and they get paid directly in USDT, or they're getting their payroll in Bitcoin or Monero, or these types of things where people are already in the ecosystem. It won't matter as much. Now, that being said, I do expect to see some pressure to start relisting things like Zcash and Monero on more exchanges, because I think the reason they were so easy to delist earlier was the volume wasn't that high, the demand wasn't that high. Back in the day when this first push came, really 6-7 years ago, was the start of that against Monero, at least. That has shifted so dramatically. I mean, Monero's volume is actually, especially when we're talking crypto-to-crypto swaps, is like out of this world, higher than most other cryptocurrencies in the space, really only behind stable coins. There is incredible demand, which also means there's incredible profits to be made if centralized exchanges were to relist it and give people an easy on and off ramp. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a pushback towards that, at least while the regulatory environment is relatively relaxed like it is right now. But I think the beauty is we don't really need that anymore, which is a good thing. It's a good thing.
Price point on Monero, because otherwise people would kill me for not asking. Where do you think Monero goes? Could Monero go to $20,000 per coin?
I will preface this with the fact that I am potentially one of the worst traders out there, and I would not copy trade any of my choices. Zcash is pumping right now.
Disclaimer.
I sold my Zcash right before it. I have terrible timing. So, please do not take anything that
Listen,
I say as financial
I just
advice.
buy and hold. I'm not trading out here. I DCA. Okay.
That's what I do too. I still mistime
DCA.
that. So I don't know how it's possible, but yeah, I'm not the best voice on that. I would say like I certainly can't give.
I'll say. Let me
rephrase.
rephrase. Could you see Monero hit $20,000 per coin? Could you see?
I think absolutely. Yeah, I think absolutely. I think the thing that people have to keep in mind is there is only so much time that speculation can have a role in the value of an asset. Like eventually, and we've seen this with tens of thousands of cryptocurrencies over the last decade, where there is this huge speculative bubble. You see them pump for a while, and then eventually just the excitement dies down. There's no one actually using it. There's no real use case. They eventually just go to zero, where they just become zombie coins where no one trades them, no one worries about them.
Yeah.
That reality will never exist for Monero. Monero, I would say, outside of Bitcoin and stable coins and Ethereum, is the clearest product market fit and the highest usage cryptocurrency in the space, which at least sets a price floor for it. It's hard to estimate exactly what the price will do, but I don't really rule out anything, because I think the demand for simple private payments is just so high throughout the world that as more entities, and again, I'm not saying this is a good thing, but even like Iran, as they start to realize like Bitcoin is not private, hey, stablecoins can be censored, they can freeze those at a whim, they start to understand, okay, we need something that's more censorship resistant, that's more private. Now, I don't want that, just to be really clear, but the people who first realize the need for something are almost always the people on the fringes, usually criminals, usually people in authoritarian regimes, the people who have the most on the line, the most to lose. They wake up to that need first. And we saw that with Monero, where darknet markets and places where, again, I don't like the things that it's being used for, but it shouldn't be able to be stopped there, because if it can be stopped there, it can be stopped for good people who are trying to use it for good things as well.
But, the dollar is also used that way, right?
Oh, yeah. Far more than all of cryptocurrency combined.
Correct.
Yes. Yeah. Far more than all cryptocurrency combined. So I think that clear usage, that clear product market fit, makes it so that Monero is something that's going to be here for the long haul. And I wouldn't be surprised to see price just continue to slowly grind up as more and more people realize the need for something like this. But there's also, at the same time, there are perverse incentives for entities who don't want people using and learning about Monero to try and push the price down and suppress it. So who knows what will actually happen. But I think the thing that is very, very clear is that there is just immense demand for Monero, for using this every day, for using it for goods and services. And that demand is only growing.
Because obviously, I'm sure you have data from from just Cake Wallet itself. Where did this spike happen? Like, have you looked and where you can usually see, right? Like on a graph, like where did the spike actually happen, where people really started to kind of like scratch their heads and say, you know what, I should be buying more Monero here and protect my price. Like, was it 2 years ago, a year ago, 6 months ago that you've seen a massive increase in that happening?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have very limited insight into that. Like, one thing that's very intentional is we don't have any analytics. We don't know how much each of our users hold, but just in terms of like volume with our swap providers, over the last 18 months, we've seen our volume quadruple, and most of that volume is Monero. Obviously, we've had a lot of growth in other areas. Bitcoin, like I mentioned, has seen a lot of growth, but the top three is always Bitcoin, stablecoins, and Monero is always the majority of that volume. And we've only seen that really increase over the last 18 months in a massive way. There are a lot of other things, so it's always hard to correlate like exactly what is causing that shift. But I think that the fact that we've been focused more heavily on things outside of Monero, not because we don't care about Monero, but because there's more kind of room to improve outside of our Monero support. We've been focusing on other things, and yet we've seen massive, absolutely massive growth in the Monero ecosystem. And I think that is good evidence of that demand really ticking up over the last 18 months. I think that it's been a kind of a slow and steady grind, but it does feel like something shifted 18 months to 2 years ago, where people started realizing, okay, this is something I need to think about deeply, and I need to start using where I can. And the beauty of Monero is once you just start using it and you understand how simple it is, you just hit receive, you just hit send, you get all of this privacy that is practically unattainable in any other cryptocurrency. It has a massive sticking effect for people, because once you use it, you see how simple it is. It just becomes something that you want to use more and more.
Cake Pay. Tell me more about this, because a lot of people have asked about Cake Pay. Benefits, the major benefits of Cake Pay.
Yeah, I mean, the end goal is, like, obviously, at least for most of us in the US and the West, there's not a ton of places to spend crypto directly generally. Like, it's not even limiting it even to Bitcoin or stable coins. There's just not many places you can actually spend crypto in person. That's changing somewhat, like Square's enabling Bitcoin payments, which has been really cool to see, and that is greatly helping merchant adoption, specifically for Bitcoin. But in the meantime, especially before that becomes more widespread, we need the ability to just pay with crypto anywhere. CakePay solves that for you. Basically, you can just buy debit cards and gift cards directly with your crypto. No accounts necessary, no KYC, very privacy preserving. And you can spend those anywhere. It's not a complex product. It's just one of those that makes life a lot easier, because especially if you're primarily storing your wealth in Bitcoin, or you're primarily using Monero to actually spend, and you want to be able to use it at more places than you currently can, the ability to just say, like, oh, I got to buy something that's $500 on Amazon. Let me just $500 gift card, send Monero, 10 minutes later, get a gift card, redeem it, done. I can buy whatever I want and not have to go back through a centralized exchange that has my KYC info, go to fiat, wait 2 or 3 days for the withdrawal to happen, go to my bank account, and then be able to buy it. I don't have to worry about any of that. I can just go straight to gift card in minutes, sometimes seconds, depending on how you're buying it. Bitcoin Lightning is the fastest way. Stablecoins are quite quick as well. And get that gift card and debit card that you need to use. Right now, it is all delivered via email, but something that we were actually just chatting about in a meeting internally before I hopped on here is we're going to be doing in-app redemption. For a while, we had this where you could like be in the line at Chipotle, get the total, type that in, get a gift card for exactly the amount you needed, and get the gift card right there fast enough to not annoy the the person behind the register. That, for some technical reasons behind the scenes, our provider that was doing that kind of fell through. We've rebuilt that from scratch ourselves in-house, and we're going to be doing that probably in the next month. We'll have that shipped, where you can, like, and I've done this many times in the past, like I'll be at Lowe's and be buying a bunch of stuff to help around the house, see what my total is, be at the self-checkout, just buy the gift card right then. And I don't have to worry about, like, getting too big of one or having one that has a little bit. I need to spend another time to have exactly what I need, and just scan the barcode and go. So that's the dream, but it's really just letting you spend your crypto anywhere while preserving your privacy as much as possible.
Yeah, that's what people are looking for. I've had conversations. Number one, welcome to the breakdown, episode 705. We're here with Seth. Seth's from Cake Wallet. By the way, Cake Wallet won 2 awards at the Bitcoin 2026 conference. So let's go ahead and congratulate them on that. Before you go, Seth, that's been a big thing with a lot of people. They're like, I hate centralized exchanges. Why can't I just do everything through my wallet? And I'm hoping that that's where we head towards. A lot of people, I want to say this. A lot of people don't want a KYC, not because they want to avoid anything. That's the whole thing. And it's
a pain. It's just a pain.
It is. Yeah. And then some people say, like, well, this feels no different than a bank. Like, I've been talking to people, and these are these are the conversations that I'm having, and these are their thoughts. And they're like, why can't I just do it all? Like, I have a hot wallet, or if I have a cold wallet, why can't I just do everything and make transactions from here? Why does it have to be so difficult? I got to send it here, and then I got to, like, people just want it easy, especially this generation wants it really simplified. Like, you go on Instagram, Instagram's easy. You post, you take a picture. I guess people put a filter on it, caption, boom, it's sent. I will say that it's gotten easier in crypto. Like I remember when I came here, it wasn't so easy. I mean, I get that, but still, I think we can make it a whole lot easier where we don't have to jump through hoops in order to go ahead and cash out, kind of thing,
Yeah.
or pay for things, which I think should be like we should be paying in crypto. Shouldn't be switching back into fiat. I ran away from fiat. So it's like, why am I going back into fiat? I understand that some people don't. We're still a long way from people like fully accepting crypto, but there are places that do accept it. So that's been like a major thing that people. Again, when I sit down with them, this is where the whole thing is like, man, I got to go through so many hula hoops. I'll wait until you guys get it right. There's millionaires that want to come in here, but they're like, I'm not jumping through all this stuff.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think that's been one of the pain points is for many use cases for crypto over the years, we've just kind of made it the banking system, but with extra steps. Like it just gets actually more complex, not easier. I think that is changing. There's a lot of good solutions like the crypto swaps I was talking about.
Yeah.
Once you're in the ecosystem, but it is still that first part. But I think that's also a lot of it is like maybe for lack of a better term, Western privilege of like, we have a ton of extra money. We want to put it into crypto. But for a lot of people, especially like you're talking global South, you're talking the biggest growth spots for crypto specifically, they're earning in stable coins. They are saving in Bitcoin when they can. They're using these things and they're natively in these things. Like they are very rarely going into fiat, whereas it's really the inverse for us. So that is like, I think that's the state that a lot of us will be getting to down the line, where we'll at Cake Wallet, many of our employees are getting paid either entirely in crypto or partially in crypto. That's their preference. We always let each employee choose what they want. And I think that will become more and more normal, because once you just can get part of your paycheck directly in Bitcoin and stable coins and Monero, whatever, the rest of it becomes so much easier, because it's almost always that on and off ramp that's the real pay, and that's what we're trying to cut out.
Seth, I appreciate you coming on today. Hopefully more in the future. Cake Wallet is I have Cake Wallet, and
I'd hope so.
I could show it right now. I could show it right now. I'll show it to you. I'll send you a screenshot. I just think it's designed. The visual design is great. Like it feels like it feels like money was put into it. There are plenty of wallets out here, and like respectfully, like it feels like we put it out here, enjoy kind of thing. Like I like the way that Cake Wallet's been built out. I'm happy that the recognition is finally coming towards you guys. Again, that Bitcoin 2026, I've seen the pictures, I've seen the conversations there about it, and that was cool. And continue to build out this product, man. It's necessary and needed.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much, David. Thanks for having me on. It was a good chat.
Thank you, Seth. Appreciate you. Especially with my monitors failing. As we are on here, everything's off. I'm Bloodsport Van Damme right now. Blind. Okay. I don't know if you're like throwing middle fingers at me or whatnot, but it is what it is. Seth, I appreciate you, man.
Have a good one.
That was Seth from Cake Wallet. Let me just stop. I am trying to fix this on the go. Seth came on. Seth for privacy. Cake Wallet. I told you, Cake Wallet is one of the most securest wallets there is within this industry. I've said it multiple times. Even Bitcoiners agree with me. They can't say anything. They know better. I've had those conversations in spaces. They can't say anything. What I can say is that I don't know why my freaking monitors are going off on me. That's what I can say. That's what I can say. To finally get acknowledgement that your product is good must feel so good, especially when you poured in so much money into the goddamn product. Talked about this all the time. I got to give respect to people that have been here through the bear bull. It doesn't matter. They work in any environment. That's That's commendable, man. It really is. We'll have Vic on here anyway. Hopefully this month. We'll have hopefully more of the staff from Cake Wallet come on. Talk about privacy, to talk about the markets. We'll be right back though, right after this commercial break.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh, wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Listen, I can't fix it. I can't fucking fix it. There's nothing I can do here. Welcome back to the Breakdown, episode 705. I can't see shit. I don't know who. I'm gonna bring everybody on here. This is frustrating. This is fucking frustrating. Mother. All right, I'll let that out. Let's go ahead and bring on. I don't know why his name is David Gochstein. Let me edit his name for him. Help him out here. I'll do it for you. Do it for you. There you go. We got Rob on here. Or we had Rob on here. Hey, Rob, how's it going?
Man, because I'm playing you, that's why my name is Dave Oxton. I'm playing you. So if you say I'm a Kamala Harris voter one more time, yourself a Kamala Harris voter. What happened to Landy? Oh, there he is. He's back. You know what?
What you do?
You know what? You couldn't control the ad space that was happening there, right? You were swearing and all that, right? I love it. You know, I'm going to make a meme. This is Donald Trump with Iran. He's like, what the fuck happened here? This was supposed to be fucking done.
You know, right now, the way I'm feeling, where I'm looking and I'm staring at a black monitor and another one and another one. Oh, man. This, I got to tell you, man, I've tried everything. I've tried everything. I've even taken off my pants.
That's not new.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Title sponsor Midnight. Shout out to Midnight. Hold on, Rob. I know you've been waiting. I know you've been waiting, patiently waiting to go ahead and talk about a microphone.
So yeah, no, I've got a whole new microphone analogy. It doesn't involve you.
Listen, I still can't get the image of you and that little pink pen of yours talking about microphones and the way they look. God bless you, Rob. You know, we still love you regardless. All right. So I was on Rob's show, Landy. Let's start with Landy here. Rob, I was on Rob's show, Landy, and Rob said that, you know, Trump didn't know or doesn't know what he got himself into. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think Rob is right here?
No, I disagree. If that were true, then you would have to go back all the way to post-inauguration actions taken by the administration across the board that really set the path that led to Iran getting struck, right? Not just the first time, but also this follow-up conflict, right? And here's the thing. You can go back in history and you can search through Donald Trump's interviews and you can see that he understands the regime, he understands the problem, he understands the Strait of Hormuz. In fact, he talked about this all the way back in the 80s and 90s. And I think that if you just use a little bit of logic, it's very easy to see that there would be no way to blockade Iran if we did not strike them first, right? Because if we were to try and blockade the strait and prevent Iran from moving energy assets through the strait, they would have been just, they would have had a navy, right? And so there would have been naval warfare, there would have been ballistic missiles, drone strikes, fast boat attacks, and all kinds of things. So you can see that strategically we needed to strike Iran's missile infrastructure, their nuclear infrastructure, their command and control infrastructure, and sink their navy, along with many other things that the military did before a blockade of Iran would actually become effective. And this is borne out to be true. I mean, we saw the economic attacks on Iran begin. And this is all leading to a head. You also don't stand up insurance when Lloyd's dropped it overnight the way they did, right? Without foreseeing this as part or factoring this kind of stuff as part of the plan. You know, it started with the ramp up in energy production here in the United States with oil and gas. So I just fundamentally disagree. I think that that's a narrative being painted by the media and people with an axe to grind in the media and speculative so-called experts that like to write long-winded papers that mean nothing and go nowhere. The same ones that also you know, have been trying to bait us into the Green New Deal and globalization for many years, in my opinion. Now, I don't think that's Rob's position, but I think that that kind of a narrative is seeping through and into everything because it is so pervasive against anything that Trump does. He can't possibly be smart enough to foresee any of this or put people in position to actually plan for this. And that's usually the take. And it's like, okay, yeah. I mean, I just don't buy that. It's too clear from the economic military side of things and from all of the actions that led up to this point for me.
Have you muted yourself, David?
Oh, I said, Rob, what are your thoughts here?
I mean, first of all, you put words in my mouth. I didn't
No,
say
I
Trump
didn't.
didn't
These
see
were your
anything.
words.
Hold on. Let me finish. I didn't say never saw it coming. And I've been really clear. I don't think he's
That's what she
stupid,
said.
Landy. I don't think he didn't foresee any of the possible outcomes here. I truly believe, and again, I'm not gonna argue this point over and over. I think he thought Iran was going to capitulate faster than they did. And now I think he is trying to find an exit. And the only thing I will say, Landy, is he clearly wants out of this more than they do. I mean, this is the simplest way I can put it. And I don't disagree with anything you said. And I'm not calling him stupid. I think he's super smart. And I think he absolutely knew. And you're right about going back. He knew the threat Iran posed. He knew that they would try to close down the Strait of Hormuz. He knew all of this. He wanted to drive energy. Always wanted to drive sort of traction toward the U.S. and as a president, wanted to drive energy toward us. I'm watching on the surface, Landy. Forget about people writing complicated, stupid papers in the press and yelling from outside. I'm watching as a smart, insightful observer. We're in a ceasefire that we supposedly did because they were backed up against all. And their entire attitude, I mean, they fired on U.S. warships twice in 3 days. It's not really a violation of a ceasefire. It's an absolute fucking violation of a ceasefire. You're firing on our warships. Doesn't matter that we blocked the missiles. Oh, Hezbollah shot missiles at Israel. They blocked the missiles, so it doesn't count. Of course it counts. They're literally flipping us off. And Trump's like, we're so close to an agreement. And they're like literally spitting in our face. And the reason, Landy, I think they're doing it is because they don't actually want a peace agreement. And that's the only thing, Landy, I think Trump didn't calculate. I don't think he realized that this regime, and he keeps saying it's a new regime. He said it yesterday. We got rid of the first regime, the second regime, the third regime. That's regime change. I'm being honest, Landy. This is not regime change. Same exact different portion of the leadership, and I think they're more radical. It is not a new regime. I think you'd agree with that. So I'm saying I think he thought they would actually want to get out of this, and I think they don't want to get out of this. I think they have no interest in ending this. I think they literally will go to the end of the world to not get out of this. The more they're martyred, the more they stay in this, the more they lose, the better off they are. I don't think they're seeking a practical outcome. And I think that's a challenge for Trump, who actually is a businessman, deal maker, and thought they will make a deal to end this. I don't think they want to make a deal. So I think they know he does. And my only point is, and this is all I would ask you, Landy, if the deal that comes out in the next week is we've made a deal with Iran to lift sanctions, release billions of funds, and they've agreed to stop enriching uranium. Would that be satisfactory to you? Because again, you know, the International Atomic Energy, whatever it's called, IAEA, whatever, has said We know there's uranium in there. We can't see it. We can't get to it. And we know this regime has lied. So there's no commitment they make that would be a good one. So if they said, we've agreed to stop and you release sanctions and you give us billions of dollars, if that's the agreement they make, would you consider that a win for the U.S.?
No, and that's not going to be an agreement that would be acceptable. They've already floated that agreement, and in various through various channels, right? And here's the thing, Rob. You and I know, David knows this as well, but you and I both know that they are not a cohesive unit right now. They have been there. There is a massive internal conflict, and it's a power
Right.
struggle right now. So when you have the right hand doesn't agree with the left hand, and the left hand's going and doing stupid stuff, you're dealing with people who are a little bit more sane and not necessarily the quote unquote prior regime, and there is a struggle within. Now it's about breaking that struggle for the faction that you are dealing with, which is why I believe you're getting mixed messages out of Iran, and you're getting and here's where many people are saying no, it's a mixed message from the United States and the administration, when it's really not. They've been very um, they've been very consistent on stressing that they are dealing with specific people that want to make a deal, and we know for a fact that that is not the same people for that are going to try to undermine it at the same time. Now you can argue that there's backstabbing and all this other stuff, and they won't stay true to their word. They'll just reform. I don't think they have the political cap.
Oh,
He's in the
maybe
forest
he got
somewhere.
taken up. He got
Yeah,
taken up
he's
by
in the
the Iranians.
forest.
So when he comes back, David, here's a question I would ask
Here
you.
he's
Oh,
back.
nice, got red one.
Here comes the puppet. I think
I
he's
don't know
back.
if I'm actually back.
You are back.
Okay.
New puppet.
I okay. So my point being is they're a fractured regime, and by applying the tactics that we're using now, you're essentially bolstering one side that is willing to deal, and the other side that is trying to sabotage any deal, right? And I think that
hmm
I personally think that this administration is willing to play the long game, and I think that what we're going to find out is if with a meeting with, Aradachi just went and met with Xi. When Trump meets with Xi, if China is able to put enough pressure on on what I would consider the losing faction at the end of the day, and that would be the IRGC elements, the besieged, and aligned generals from the Artesh that might be supporting some of those operations, if they can put enough pressure on them to stand down and let the political process and the actual negotiations play out and provide for Chinese.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was me,
He's
but
gone.
that's Landy and his whack ass
No, it's
connection.
Landy.
Yeah, it's Landy.
So let me jump in here for a second. And David, I know you're trying to be the moderator here, but here for me, it would be a simple question. I get it's politics as well. It troubles me to hear the president say we did regime change. We got rid of one regime, two regimes, three regimes. That's the definition of regime change. I don't think
Okay.
he's stupid. I think he absolutely knows that they did not get rid of the regime. We did not remove the Iranian regime. We just got rid of
though. Like,
different
not
levels of
yet.
leadership. I know. I
Not
didn't say that. I'm
yet.
just saying he's saying we did. So all I'm saying is, and I agree with Landy that there's a conflict going on. I'm not convinced one side wants a reasonable outcome. I'm not sure if they all don't want a chaotic outcome. I don't know how you deal with radical fundamentalists. All I'm saying is, if in the next few days or a week, we hear the president say, we've made a deal. and we are going to lift sanctions and give them billions of dollars in exchange for X. My argument would be there is no X worth doing those two things. There is no X worth it unless there is literally a different government in place, like not the third, fourth, fifth version of this government. As long as this government's in place, lifting sanctions, releasing billions of dollars, no matter what promises they make, in my view, would lead to them continuing to try. Maybe it'll take them 5-10 years to build a nuclear weapon, which they've been clearly been trying to do. And they promised they were not doing it for decades. And Obama released billions of dollars. That's all I'm saying. If we release the funds and lift the sanctions, why? Why would you do that? It's like Japan in World War II. If we surrender, you'll agree. No, we won't agree to anything. You give up, period. That's my only issue. I don't think, by the way, Landy, well, I don't know if Landy's here, so David, you can say it. I don't believe that Trump's stupid. I just think, like, why is he trying to make a deal where you're offering to give up these massive concessions in exchange for commitments that can't be verified and have never been verifiable? They've never honored them.
I told you, I'm going to tell you again, like I told you on your show, let's see it all play out. Like what's being said in the press, it's not coming out of Trump's mouth. And if Trump's playing some sort of psychological game, let him play it. Why would Trump, if I'm the president, right? I'm at war with a country right now. Why would I come out to the press and tell them exactly what I'm going to do and what my plan is? It makes no sense. Like, this is not even me being a Republican. It doesn't matter if I was even, doesn't matter, Democrat, independent, Green Party, it doesn't matter. Like, any logical person who doesn't have brain damage would understand that you as the president, the leader of the free world, you're not going to come out there and tell everybody exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I already said that Trump has weaponized his social media account because he knows how people react. He knows exactly how people react.
Agree with that.
People hang on to every single word he says.
Yeah. Yeah. So here would be my question to you and Landy, if Landy's back.
I can't get Landy on. I don't know what's wrong with his ass.
Well, he's been blocked by the Iranians along with the rest of their country.
He said he's here, so let's see. I'll try.
There he is. He's back. Look at that. Bitcoin Landy's back. He's muted, but back. So here's my question to you. Here's my question to both of you. And I'm not arguing, if in the next week we hear from the president that he has made a deal in which he is lifting sanctions and releasing billions of dollars of funds to Iran in exchange for X. I don't care what X is. A promise to do blank, a commitment to do blank, an existential double down commitment to do blank, to not do anything in the straight, to do whatever. If that's the case, would either of you acknowledge that that is an absolute failure for the U.S. to release billions of dollars to Iran, lift their sanctions to a completely a terrorist government that for 40 years has lied, cheated, stealed, and will literally just keep doing it again? Would either of you acknowledge, if that's what happens, you'd stop saying, no, he has a reason for doing that other than he wants out of this? And if you'd say yes, I'll let go. And you may say he won't say that. I think he's going to. I think he's going to say, this is the deal we reached, and this is why it's okay. I don't like that. I'm a hardliner.
But this is a hypothetical situation that you're proposing here, right?
Well, no, I'm not totally hypothetical, Andy. They've asked for that. That's what their terms are.
That doesn't mean, but they have and Trump has said this continuously. They don't call the shots here. He literally posted, he's got all the cards. Why? Because they are in complete and utter disaster territory for everyone there now, because this blockade is causing and it will cause irreparable damage to their economy long term. Their only out is to do a deal. And look, this is the same kind of conversation that was happening prior. People were very upset that that Trump was dealing with Delcy Rodriguez, right? And not completely wiping the internal infrastructure that was built under Chavez and Maduro, right? But look at where that has headed. Now, that was guarantees. It was tentative at first. We got our people down there, and now there's real work being done. And there is a
So wait,
partnership there. What is it? Well, wait, let me finish. What was one of the biggest reasons that they were allowed to even have sanctions lifted? Well, it's because they were dealing in US dollars, and we are the priority for importing the oil and refining any oil products coming out of Venezuela. We are first dibs. We call the shots. The only way that this happens like this in Iran with any elements of the current regime, which are not going to be able to be just ousted in the next couple of weeks. So if there was a deal done, then there would have to be security guarantees for the United States, and you would see the U.S. go into Iran, likely with IAEA, likely with some sort of blessing from China and Russia to go in and deal with the actual mechanics of obtaining nuclear material. And then, of course, companies would start arriving with contractors and U.S. military to actually start to take control of the infrastructure that, by the way, we built along with BP.
okay, Landy, I gotta interrupt you. I hear you. I feel like that. I swear to God, Landy, I think you're. It's like you're making a pipe dream. There's no version
I'm
where
not.
Iran's. No, not you're wrong if that happened. There's no version where Iran's government lets us go in and go into Fordham and dig out that uranium. They're shooting at our warships right now.
Yeah.
Maybe they're a divided government. There's no version where they literally let us go in on camera so the world
You're
can
right.
see we took out all that uranium.
So my point to you is that is the only way that a deal is going to get done. That's
Well,
my
what if a
point.
deal gets
So
done without them? What if a deal gets done where
what
Trump
I
says,
don't deal it
you know what,
I,
they're going to
I
stop
don't
doing
deal in
it
what
and they're going to
ifs.
let the IAEA monitor it?
I don't the IEA is not going to be the only ones on the ground if they're going to monitor it. They can't monitor it. They were kicked out. We already know this.
I
And
agree.
this is
I agree. They
where
said we can't
I
monitor it. Like,
yeah, so they need the US. And okay, let me put it to you this way. The biggest hint that Trump is not going to take their shit is that we have not only done a full rearmament of CENTCOM, but we have provided more assets and more lethal assets to the region. That tells you everything you need to know, Rob. If for any folks out there that have ever been in the military, if you're veterans or active duty, you know this as well. This is a massive signal that not only are we going to support the blockade, but we are preparing for if there is any kind of false flag deal and we begin to get people in and you try to make an example of us, we'll wipe you out. Or if you don't want a deal, we'll just wipe you out if you continue to do what you're doing. I think the main reason that a lot of people are on pins and needles right now is because there is a faction that wants an out in Iran, and that's the faction that the Trump administration is attempting to work with. And like I said before, you have the old elements of the prior regime that is not actually in full control. It's very clear that they're not in full control. You can tell that just by what Aradachi was talking about with Z versus what they're doing right now in the Strait, right? So you could tell that there is a massive disconnect. And this was going to happen. And was I've talked about this right at the very decapitation event, day one. I talked about this here. I've talked about it on Spaces events that this was going to be what happened. And we know that the military has been planning for this for a long time. Now it's about you're making a proposal that of a what if scenario that I don't think Trump is going to accept. I think that the
Okay.
only way that we accept an outcome. Now, now you're saying in this hypothetical
I'm asking,
world,
wait, I asked
how
you a
would I
different
feel?
question. I asked you, yeah, that's the question I asked you because again, you make all these great arguments, Landy, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying no matter what I say, your answer is they've thought of it. There's an outcome. I mean, saying, is there any outcome where you'd go, they're wrong? I mean, I'm not stupid. I'm logical. We're in a
Me
ceasefire where
too.
we're supposedly, hold on, where we're the dominant power. And yet they're shooting at our warships. And we're going, well, that's not really a bad thing because they didn't hit them.
Okay,
What version
hold
of
on.
like shooting at our
We
warships
struck
is not,
back.
what's
Okay,
that?
are you
We struck
missing? Are
back
you
in a very
missing?
limited
We
way.
struck
Yes.
back.
We struck back in a limited way, yes. But again, we're no, but we're in a ceasefire.
We struck their
If we're
ports.
the dominant, hold on. If we're the dominant power and they're underneath our foot, why are we not? You just loaded our ships. You're still blocking the strait. We're done. We are done. Like
They're
everyone
not
keeps
blocking
saying,
the
well,
strait.
we're trying to negotiate an outcome. Why don't we just go blast the fuck out of them and finish it?
Okay.
I don't get it.
What? Okay. What, Rob? You know that Besiege has gone into hiding in the population. So have many of the IRGC elements.
Right.
You
So
have
you're
the
saying
Artesh
it
has
wouldn't
now
do it.
started to
You're saying it
splinter around
wouldn't
the
do it.
company. No. The human cost to the civilian population there is too high for them to go in. That's why they even have a negotiation position. Now, what did
Okay.
this whole idea that we're in a ceasefire, we're not going to do anything about it? We literally struck back and we destroyed, what was it, 3 of their ports. We took down a bunch more of their fast boats. They are literally no better than the Somali pirates at trying to attack shipping right now. So they have no legs to stand on. So this notion that this is to protect the people there and to protect the infrastructure there for future negotiations and a power shift in the favor of the United States and Western nations. That's what this is about. Because if you're going to
All
do
right.
this over here, he has to preserve because look, if you think that for 1 second we go full force and absolutely go fire and fury on them in the next 2 weeks to eliminate remaining elements here and there throughout the regime, that is actively not the ones, and they're actively trying to sabotage the negotiations, right? If we were to do that, he's going to get killed in the media and he's likely going to nuke any kind of deal that he could work out with China that could involve the trade discussions that we have coming up. Right. So this is a leverage game and it's, I think, a very long game. I don't think you're going to see CENTCOM leave. I think they are going to stay right there. You know why? Because UAE is on the other side having ships come in. They just got attacked. And luckily, infrastructure was only minor damage to it, but they just left OPEC. They're coming out the other side, bypassing the strait. You got Saudi on the other side going past the strait. The strait is worthless right now, Rob. It's about getting trapped assets out, and we can sit on their assets in the strait and continue to block them and destroy their entire economy. And at least we're not actively striking into civilian areas where we know they are hiding. Those elements are hiding there. We know
All right.
this.
Well, listen, you still didn't. I'm not. Listen, you're really smart.
One last
Wow.
question, okay? All right. One last
locked in.
question for both of you guys. So, they talk shit about Trump all the time, about the way he posts and stuff. What did you guys think of what Mark Hamill went ahead and posted yesterday, where he posted a picture of Donald Trump essentially in the grave? Your thoughts? How 3 attempts on Trump's life already, okay? 3 that we know of, right? 3 assassination attempts on Trump's life already. You have Mark Hamill, who's lost his mind, makes a post of Trump laying in a grave. Is that normal? With
Can I
somebody
go
with that kind of
first?
platform, is that
Can I go
normal?
first?
Sure.
Can I go first?
Sure.
To me, this is the same thing Landy's talking about from the media and the other side. I don't give a fuck. Yes, it's normal. Is it okay? It's ugly. It's disgusting. It doesn't matter. In
It
fact,
does
if
matter.
anything,
What do you mean it doesn't
it
matter?
only, hold on. If anything, it only. I'm going to use the same arguments Landy's using. It only solidifies Trump. I think Trump's actually is like good. The more you guys do this, the stronger I get. You're not going to kill me. You already tried. You came close. People like Mark Hamill or what's her name, Kathy Griffin, did the head thing. It only made people look at how much, like how dysfunctional it is. I honestly don't care. I'm like, do I think it's okay? No, I think it's stupid. I mean, it's just like, okay, I get it. You all want him dead. Like I told you, David, the whole Johnny Carson thing where Reagan got shot and, the Academy Awards gave a standing ovation when he said, thank God the president's alive. They were all Democrats. Like, we're in a dysfunctional time. But at this point, I'm getting over emotional about what's wrong with these people. They literally, this is their brains. That's how they see the world. We divide it into camps and like, okay, is it healthy? And no. Am I surprised? No. Is it going to stop? No. Am I going to get worked up about it every time? No. I'm just like, okay, one more, you people.
Landy?
I am with Rob in that this narrative from the left is never going to stop until and likely won't stop with any type of a Trump candidate, right? It will extend to them, just not to the same degree. I think that this actually is a good thing, like Rob said, because what it does is it solidifies that they are repugnant, horrible people who want only their version of the United States to be in power, and they don't care how that power is obtained. And they're constant hypocrites, and they prove it out over and over again. And I think that's good for Trump. I think it's good for the upcoming midterms when you start to combine this type of celebrity messaging with what's occurring, post Supreme Court ruling, right? I think that this is just another arrow that just is a glancing blow that just is going to the majority is really silent, but the majority is paying attention, and the majority is not being reflected in a lot of the polling or crosstabs right now. And I think the majority looks at this kind of stuff and gets disgusted because they are slowly, those types of personalities have been slowly overtaking the Democrat Party and kicking out all sensible conversation, and they are now getting louder the closer we get to midterms. And I think that is not the position they want to be in, and they're not the only ones doing it. This is coming out of politicians' mouths as well. It's just more at the local and state level, and I don't think this bodes well for them. As for Mark Hamill, I've been disappointed in him for a very long time. I obviously grew up with Star Wars. He was like, he was the hero. Everybody wanted to be the
He was
Jedi.
the worst. Nah,
Hey,
Landy, he was the worst.
I was a kid.
I watched Star Wars.
I was a kid.
He sucked.
No, you
was a
weren't.
kid.
Liar. You weren't a kid.
You know what? I was a teenager. I just want to be
Grown-ass
clear,
man,
Landy.
bro.
Forget about his politics.
10 years older
I
than me.
remember watching Star Wars when I was like 15 or whatever, and I was like, why is this guy Luke Skywalker? Like, he's got no juice. Like, I get why Harrison Ford became a movie star because he had juice. Anyway, that's a separate issue. I'm sorry to stomp on you, Star Wars fans.
Well, I mean, look, I enjoyed the original trilogy. I wanted to be.
And that's a wrap for today.
I wanted to be Harrison
Y'all
Ford, but
40
they were
minutes
friends.
fighting. 40
We're not
minutes.
fighting. We're having a good conversation.
We're agreeing. We're agreeing. Hey, we're agreeing.
Yeah.
We're agreeing. David, before we go, can I say one quick thing? And I agree with Landy. We totally agree here. And I want to say to your original question, I actually wish people would do more of this. And I wish the right and the people who don't like it wouldn't make a big deal out of it. Just kind of put it in front of what Landy called the silent majority and go, see one more example. I think people are watching, and I think the more people see this who aren't hardcore extreme, like in that camp, they're like, this is so wrong. Like, you don't need to tell me it's wrong. It's like, what the fuck? And I think those people will be disillusioned by it. I think Landy's right. We actually totally agree on this.
Before you guys go, thank you very much for appearing on Fridays and going head to head, or touching on topics, I should say. I'm gonna call you, Skip Bayless, and then I'm gonna call you might be Stephen A. Smith.
The three of us generally agree. This is what I like, because this is what you're not getting in conservative circles, is that you can agree and disagree on specifics and still have a good conversation about it. And we're not seeing any of that anymore. It's all very hyperbolic, and it has to be extremely polarizing. But just know this. At least I can say the word coin, unlike Candace Owens. So just another coin in the jar, right?
Damn. Thank you guys for, by the way, tune in to Landy's show tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. I think it's 9. One came out at 6. So I don't know. Stay tuned. Have your notifications on. I guess he'll come out with a show today, the market update, updating you on all that's happening in the markets. And Rob has a show Mondays and Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where he talks about his fetishes, and also he talks about what's trending out there in the world today. So thank you very much, gentlemen. Thankfully, you've been good, Rob, today. You've been very good. You haven't mentioned any freaky stuff that you're into.
You know what? You know what, David? I like you even though you're a Jew.
Thanks.
But you know, it's going to get taken out of context. But my girlfriend is Jewish, so just want to be clear. It was a joke, in case anybody wondered.
If you were black, my girlfriend is black. It's okay. I can say this. I'm just kidding. This was a great combo. I enjoyed it.
Remark, I would have let it go if you hadn't made the fetish remark, but you had to go there. But you know what? It's
rumor
like you know what?
Rumor has it that Rob will be appearing on Chud the Builder's show next week, so you can go ahead and tune into that. He doesn't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. But all right. Watch when he finds out who he is.
Oh God. Don't do this. Don't do this to Rob. Don't do this to him. That's David. David, I'm gonna have to say that I'm gonna go through and contact the ultra Zionist Jewish Council and tell them that if they have not revoked the last bit of your access, they need to now for that comment.
You know, I'm gonna say this right now. I'll say this right now. First of all, I'm telling you, I'm going to go look at the ADL's website. I'm probably listed there as an alt-right conservative. That's number one. Number two, my Jew card's been taken away a long time ago. Okay? So you could go ahead and call me whatever you want. I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
Well, you know
Rob, what I get about you, which is for sure, okay? For sure.
You know what?
First of all, things. That's all I got to say.
Wow.
Okay? Who knows what you do?
First of all, I would have. First of all, I'm the biggest Gentile Jew lover there is. I should have a Jew card. I would have made a great rabbi.
Backtrack now.
In another life,
I'm getting.
In another life, I'll be a Jew. That said,
I got Jews from Borough Park calling me right now. I got Jews from Borough Park. Man.
All I'm telling you is, you and that microphone, you started that. I didn't.
Listen,
I just observed what I saw in front of me.
Just make sure you get the right. Make sure you get the right size and pantyhose this time, okay?
Is
I
this like
heard.
the? Is this like the? When the king was here, he was talking about a special relationship with the United States. Is David's special relationship with the
Rob's
microphone?
wearing Skims right now from Kim Kardashian's brand. Love to see it. Love
Hey,
to see it.
quick news that is just breaking now.
Oh, the 3-day ceasefire between Ukraine and Russia.
Yeah,
Is that good? Yeah. Who
let's
cares?
see how this plays out. I
Ain't getting
think
no
that
shit.
I think we're going to start seeing things line up. Doesn't mean they're going to work out, but I would think we're going to start seeing things line up. At least, Rob, we might disagree on a few things here and there. Majority of things we agree on, but I think that you would agree that we all just really want to see resolution that favors the United States and our current
Yeah,
administration
yeah,
and our candidates
yeah,
coming up, right?
yeah. And yeah, and I want to say for those watching, whatever, we disagree, yes, but I agree with you. We agree. I think all three of us. And despite David suggesting that I'm a pink fetish, Kamala Harris white guy,
You probably
I
are,
think we
man.
all
Like I
also
would not
agree.
put that past you.
Whatever. Hold on. I think we also all agree that fundamentally, we all agree that this administration is trying to move us in that direction. I think Trump is trying to move us in that direction, and and that we agree on the direction that outcome is looking at, which is, I think, what you're saying, Landy. There's disagreements in whether it's happening, criticisms around it, challenges, but yes, fundamentally in different degrees. I'm probably the most radical here. I want to go in and like who cares? Let's finish the job. I hear you, Landy. You're like, maybe that's not the way to do it.
In
You
your
know,
heels?
to be honest, David doesn't like Netanyahu. I do. I'm a huge Netanyahu fan. I'm like, great, Israel, you do the job.
You know what?
But I
You know
think we
what?
do all agree.
David, when they took your Jew card away, they gave it to Rob.
Probably 100%. Listen, let me shut the fuck up because I'll fucking get canceled at this point.
We're probably already off TikTok at this point.
Are we? Can we check?
I have no idea.
I would not be. Hold on, let me check. There's
See if
100%. I would not be fucking shocked. Hold on, let me check.
probably
Let's
because
see.
because you're hostile comments about my pink pen.
No, we're still
Which
here.
wasn't
We're still
my
on
pink
TikTok.
pen.
No, I am going through a shadow ban on TikTok, so hopefully it lifts in the next week or two. But I think it's because of Rob and the puppet, because they don't understand. Like, puppet, why is there a guy talking behind a puppet, and the puppet doesn't have any pants on? And then you have, Rob talking about microphones near people's mouths, which is weird conversation in general when you're hosting a show. Breaking down trending news. Well, I guess Rob has different types of trending news that he's into. Rob, it's all good. Rob, it's all listen.
It's kind
Rob,
of
I'm cool with you. Listen, Rob calls me and says, "Listen, you didn't need to blow me up on your live show talking about I voted for Kamala," and I felt bad.
You lie like the left wing
I
media,
felt really
man.
bad.
You lie like CNN. Why you make stuff up?
I'm gonna have to.
When I say Joe Biden, you smile. Your smile is so look the smile.
I smile all the time. Why don't you try this?
No.
Why don't you
When I
say
say
Donald
Look,
Trump?
watch Trump.
What?
See, he gets so angry.
No, look, I need
TDS
to.
kicks in. You need medication. I'm telling you, you need therapy and medication for that TDS.
There's a
Here's a
word for
wild
this.
fact.
It's called hold on, Lenny, one sec. Just before you say this, there's a word, David. It's called transference, because you got called out with your caressing your microphone, and I called it out. Now you're transferring all that onto me and trying to make it look like I'm a Biden Harris person. Go ahead, Lenny.
What are we talking about here?
He's taking his tie off now. He's getting all. Well, look at that. Woo! He's getting ready.
I'll
Go
let
ahead,
you know.
ladies.
This is the funny part, because a lot of people know that I am pro
Correcting the
Trump.
microphone.
Always very very microphone
The way you
centric.
were coming and leading with that, it was just like, what, you
Yeah.
too?
I am a big Trump supporter, right? But a lot of people may not know that I used to be a Democrat, and I was a New York Democrat. Yep. You want to hear the
And that
more
brings us
wild part?
to a New York Democrat. Oh my
You
God.
want
But
to
I was
you
a
want to
Democrat
hear
also
the
growing up. I was a
yeah,
Democrat
you want to
because
hear the more
Democrats came to your neighborhood, and in the area we grew up
What's that
in,
noise?
yeah, it was like the Democrats are going to save you, and they're going to do all these nice things,
Are you
and
bleeping
you
him,
give them the
David?
vote. What?
yeah, maybe a little.
He
If you
doesn't hear
can
me?
hear me, I can hear you.
What is that noise? Anyway,
Is that me?
I was saying where I grew up, you had it was like everybody was a Democrat, and Democrats were
I
supposed to
thought
save
you were
you.
doing it.
Doing what?
I think
I don't know
there's
what's going
something
on
going on with
there.
Restream.
I'm so lost right now.
Wait,
Do you hear
Landy.
me or
Wait,
no?
Landy? Did you vote? Landy, did you vote for Obama?
No, they lost me. They lost me during
Well, we've
the
been
run
frozen
up
out.
to '08.
Okay, both of you guys are absolutely lagging, and it has nothing to do with me or Restream. Landy's in the. I will not say where Landy is, but he's definitely in the woods. That's 100%. I don't know what he's doing, melting marshmallows or some shit on a stick. And then you have Rob, who is absolutely ticked off with me right now because he knows that I'm right. What is this? Yeah, I didn't want to say it out loud. But thank you, gentlemen, for joining the show. I appreciate you. See you next Friday, okay? See you next Friday. All right. Let me get them off. I don't know what's happening over there. I don't know what's happening over there. People are lagging and stuff. I've already taken half my suit off. It is 2:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You joined the breakdown. We'll be right back to close up the show. I see Rob is actually very angry in the green room. He is absolutely angry in the green room. It is lovely. You know what it is? Maybe it's because I blew up his spot. Should I apologize? Maybe it's because I blew up his spot. He calls me up. He's like, listen, man, did you have to blow me up about Kamala? I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, I'm not going to go into further detail, but I believe Rob voted for Kamala, and I think he voted for Joe Biden, and I think he did participate and donate to the white boys for Kamala Harris. I'm just saying, we're putting this out there. I also think Rob is a freak. Okay? I don't know why he keeps talking about this microphone. Have no idea why he keeps talking about my microphone. Some freaky shit. Okay? Freak. I thought Landy was a freak. Who the hell comes on to a telecast dressed up as a puppet? Yeah, I swear to God, I'm like the new version of Howard Stern. Okay, I'm bringing on freaks onto my show. The topic is these people, and it's hilarious. The topic is Iran. Somehow we navigate into Rob's fetishes. Like I don't know how this happens. Only on my show can we be talking about a legitimate topic and we deviate into speaking about pantyhose. I have no clue how this is happening. And I think Landy doesn't want to show his face because he's fat. That's what I think it is. And he's cockeyed. I'm getting him back. That son of a bitch didn't contact me yesterday to let me know that he's not coming onto the show. By the way, we had Peter Schiff on, and I took it to the. I like Peter Schiff. Let me just say I like Peter Schiff, but I took it to the boy. Did Landy say he's gonna show up? No, he didn't even. No warning. You see, he went violation warning. Hold on, harassment and bullying. Oh my God, I got flagged for harassment and bullying. They're on my. These are people that work for the network. Are you kidding me right now? These are people that work for my network. Oh my God. I swear to God, TikTok. You guys are weird. Like, seriously weird. That is so messed up. And I can't even see the violation too, or even. What did I say? What did I say? How am I being restricted? These are my people. Unfortunately, these are my people, but these are my people. I'm telling you, this is all Rob's fault, man. This is all Rob's fault. This is terrible. This is terrible. Horrible. Anyway, we'll be right back after this commercial break with the quote of the day. They're in the green room laughing like this is a joke. You got Rob coming on here with his bifocals. I'm harassing. We'll be right back.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. This new virus, the Hannah Montana virus, potentially entered the U.S. after the CDC notified the New Jersey Department of Health that 2 residents were possibly exposed. That's fucking great. I'm telling you right now, there's no lockdown for me. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing none of this shit. You guys have some planned out. I'm not doing it. I'm telling you right now, I'm done. I'm not gonna stay home locked down for 3 years and all this shit. I am doing things. I'm letting you guys know right now. Okay. Whatever plan that is being formulated out there, I'm telling you right now, there is absolutely zero chance. Zero chance. Okay? We've seen this movie. We're tired. Okay? We just came out of a one. We just came out of a pandemic, man. Like, I'm not going into another one. Are you kidding me? That's not happening. I'm done. I am absolutely done. Okay? Right now, there's no toilet paper. There's no toilet paper right now. Or paper towel. No, everybody's buying, but why are you buying toilet paper? What is this run on toilet paper? I never even understood that. The run on toilet paper. Jesus. Fucking run on toilet paper, man. Listen, I'm glad that people want to wipe their ass and shit. Like, I'm absolutely glad that people are into hygiene and stuff. Like, this is amazing. But what is this? Do you need 24 packs of toilet paper? Like, what is happening? Like, one pack of toilet paper got 24 in them. 24 rolls in them. You got people buying the whole store, man. Can you leave a pack for people? People will shit themselves and wipe their asses with their hands, man. What is happening? It's crazy. I knew this would happen, right? We knew this would happen. We knew this was coming. I am telling you, I don't care about any restrictions. You can put all these restrictions in place. There is no way. I am not being a part of this movie, okay? I am not going to be an extra in this goddamn movie. This is not happening. It's not happening. The New York Knicks are so close to winning a goddamn championship. All of a sudden, a virus comes out of nowhere. No. We're not doing this. We're not doing this, okay? The Giants got some sort of a team now, and all of a sudden, a virus comes out. No, we're not. No. I refuse. No. Absolutely not. I'm walking out here butt ass naked and I could care less. Not affected by any of this. I don't care. Anyway, let's go to the quote of the day. I don't give a shit. I am not, and I'm not taking no vaccines and no boosters, like none of that. You can keep that for yourselves. Bill Gates, you can keep that for yourself. Okay? You could take that shit. You can take that. You can take that. Not me. Scaring. And you know what? You know what's lovely? It's like mainstream media is scaring the hell out of everybody. I was watching dudes coming on. Oh, this is like something crazy right now. Like that. Shut up. Nobody's falling for it anymore. The Hannah Montana virus. Okay. Like nobody's falling for the Hannah Montana virus. Here's a quote of the day. Leadership is lonely. Accept it. The higher you climb, the fewer people understand your vision. That's the price of greatness. Pay it. Okay, hold on. I mean, what the fuck was that? Let's do another one. Champions aren't made on good days. They're made by showing up on hard ones. There you go. There you go. Champions aren't made on good days. They're made by showing up on hard ones. We've ended the week. Finally, thank you to the sponsors, Midnight, Polymarket, Cake Wallet, the People's Reserve. We got big news coming out. Gokhshtein is back. Gokhshtein Media is coming back. We have built out something really cool. Can't wait to go ahead and showcase it. And we got more partners and a lot of things cooking, man. We got more people coming onto the show. I'm thankful for you guys tuning in. Appreciate you guys. TikTok, what the hell? Stop with the warnings and stuff like that. Stop. There's nothing that I'm saying here that isn't being said on television, on liberal television at that. I hope you guys have a fabulous weekend. I hope crypto goes absolutely through the roof. I hope all you guys win. That's it. At the end of the day, I hope you guys take the opportunity and try to win. On that note, I'm out.